All right. Good afternoon. Let's get ready for another SAT Solved Live. Today we're going to go over the May 2021 US SAT. And I've been doing a bunch of these QASs over the last couple months. And I haven't been doing I haven't been getting a lot of 51s or 52s out of 52s on the readings. But I want to show what it's like for me to actually take this test without all the explanations in between, because those explanations do get a little tiring. They do tire me out in the middle of the taking of the test. It makes me turn on my teacher mode, which is not the same as my sort of test taking mode. So I'm gonna try a stream where I don't really explain everything, and even when I do explain, even if it's not fully clear what I'm explaining, I'm just going to keep rolling with it. That said, I will basically do some quick shout outs whenever I will try to check the chat a little frequently, kind of as if I was playing a geek, as if I was doing video game streaming. So I will be checking the chat, so I just won't be really answering anything in detail, answering questions while I'm doing this. So it's going to be a different format. One other thing about this particular test is, I'll actually show it to you. So I have never read these passages before, but for a particularly uncoordinated class schedule, I ended up doing this one passage before, passage 2. Okay, so I have done one of these passages before, and all of the other ones I've never read before, so it's my first time. So that said, I do have a recording of it. In fact, I can even show you a sneak peek of my recording right now. So hang on, over here. So this is a previous video I had made, just recorded. You can even see this is my screen, right? This is my video player. So this is just a previous recording with a previous face. I have a face over my face right now. So what I'm thinking of doing is for this particular passage, I'll play it at the end of my other 4 passages. So I'll go through the other 4 passages first. Is it better to keep it in sequence? Not sure, but I'll play it in. Actually, let me decide that right now, so I don't have to decide later on. I think it would be better to play it, I guess, in sequence. So I will play it I'll play this video after I do my first test passage. As you can tell, I'm not super articulate right now. That's because I guess I haven't had a lot of sleep the last 3 or 4 nights, so I'm getting canker sores, and it's hard to speak. My lips hurt when I speak. So I'm not in the best condition today, but I should be fine for the test, I think. It's not really an excuse for my test performance. So I think my test performance should be fine, but my speaking might not be the best. Okay, so that's the setup. Okay, I'll be doing, let me fix this up then. I'll be doing, I wonder if is that fairly legible? Because if this is relatively legible, I think it'd be better to actually keep the screen like this. I guess that kind of is legible. So I might leave it like that when I do it. And then go to the third passage. Okay, So, sorry, I'm just talking to myself, figuring out what's the best way of formatting and showing you this video. I'm about to get started on the first passage. I'll stop time after the first passage. I'll show you the video, which took me only 10 minutes and 50 seconds for the second passage. I'll play it straight with probably no commentary. And then I'll go into the third passage, and then the fourth and the fifth, and just finish off the time. I will not interrupt myself during this time. I will not stop time at all. I'm just going to go through all 5 passages. Okay. I will explain as much as I can in time pressure, but just know that my explanations are not going to be full explanations really within the 65 minutes. They'll be more like quick reactions so that you can kind of guess what I'm thinking and where I'm trying to go. That's sort of the intention. I find it very hard to actually be articulate while I'm taking the test. Okay, so here I have my guided access started. And I'm about to get started. Here we go. All right. I gotta psych myself out. Gotta get excited. All right, I'm excited to learn some new things through some interesting new SAT passages that I've never seen before in my life. I also want to get a 52 out of 52, and it looks like I got an okay head start by getting a 10 out of 10 on the second passage. So now let's go and finish off the rest of this test. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, let's go. Before we visit the goddess, Banerjee Diva, okay, India, 1973, written 2016, but 1973, Bella and Sanjay. And Bishu, who is the friend and mentor, is a mentor. Okay, so Bishu's older. Bella and Sanjay are maybe, okay, Bishu's the mentor, but she couldn't help being annoyed. Bishu, yes, this annoying mentor. Conflict. Wow, that's insulting. Resented him. Advise Sanjay about his career. More money. Okay. Where's this catching his breath coming from? They're not actually, they're just looking. They're just looking. Okay, they're just glancing at each other. Regally, that's kind of funny. Shonu must be him, Sanjay. Okay. Her secret dream. Magical. Okay. Interesting background. Unreasonable. Bishu helped. Aha. That's nice. It's like a conflict of multiple feelings here. The shingle roof tritone was the most beautiful. Oh man, I see. Wow, that's disappointing. 3:15. It's a bit of sarcasm. It's a lot of busy. Oh, political leaders. Interesting. Interesting. I didn't know. That's interesting. Shelves. What are stalkers? Oh, I see. It's a job. I see. Save the. 4:45. Stop. Okay. And here is my. Oh, I actually forgot to say this in advance. I am going to do my map of the passage, but that's the only reason I will stop the time. My map of the passage is this. We have Bella, who doesn't really love Bishu, the mentor. One of the first. Like, she's thankful for him, but doesn't love him. He's a little presumptuous. He just comes into the house unannounced. And also, Sanjay, who can have a fight about parking spots, apparently becomes suddenly deferential to his old mentor whenever Bishuda comes around. Bishu then mentions good news, and they kind of have this coded glancing at each other where they're like, what the heck? How can you. She like glances at him, he frowns back at her. The coded message being. So this is like an imaginary conversation in her head, really. And he and Bishuda is trying to announce the good news and tries to get Sanjay to say it first. And Sanjay gleams, hey, we're buying a house. And we go straight into Bella's mind. And Bella is, her heart is fluttering when we have this contrast between her kind of disliking Bishu and then this announcement where a house is actually, her dream is about to be realized. It's a beautiful house. Is about to be realized thanks to Bishu kind of helping find it. Well, problem is, it looks way too expensive. And so she's like, we can't afford it. And then Bishu says something that shatters the whole dream in the third column. Hey, it's not to live in, silly. And so that's her whole dream undercut. And so the men start talking like they used to back when they were politicians back in India. Just all the details of how to get this house. It's an investment. They're gonna rent it out. They're gonna make money through it. It's basically a business plan. It has no romantic connection whatsoever to a house, to Bella's needs whatsoever. Whereas Bella is thinking about some Polaroids, documenting her American life. I don't fully understand that part, but whatever. And she and at the very end she sees him talking. She's putting these Polaroids together, and I don't remember much after that for some reason. So there's like a turn, like a something that happens. But anyway, it's clear that she's annoyed and disappointed by this whole experience. Okay, So that's my map of the passage. I'm at 4:45. I'm going to continue with the questions. 3, 2, 1, let's go. Sanjay as being too yielding. Professional yielding to Bishu. Yeah. $5.10. Quickly communicate. That's the coded message at the bottom left. 20. Yep. So that's 5:25. Bella's cooking primarily serves to her peak, her inside feeling. Depends. No. Freedom he feels, yeah. Manners, no. When eating, no. Fond memories, no. Oops, wrong one. That's B. 5:50. And I'm going to change to blue for the questions. The comparison 28-29 has the main effect of the words swooshed around like crazy birds, wild birds, has the main effect of like the dizzying effect. The countryside, no. Excitement is right, but intensity of unexpected, yeah. There we go. 6:20. Sanjay's announcements are prompted by her initial thoughts, are prompted by her past and dream, her dream and past. Security of her childhood, maybe. Father would approve, no. Cherish time, no. We have a imaginary one. Imaginary. And so that doesn't work. Unreasonable, 37. She hadn't told because she hadn't told because it was unrealistic, right? I kind of just saw that. 7:05. Oh, excessive. Hang on. Unrealistic. Excessive longing. The longing itself is not excessive. Okay, the longing itself is not excessive. The longing itself is unrealistic. Objects to the plan of buying a house because. Hang on, I'll come back to that. It feels weird. Objects to the plan of buying a house because it's too expensive. Okay, that's 7:30. Helped by Sanjay and Bishu. Okay, helped by painting. Basically, yeah. So that's I remember painting basically. So that must be A, which is yeah. There we go. Yeah, that's it. 66 to 69. Okay, because they're gonna repair. Yeah, that's the closest thing to repairing, right? Yeah. Just double checking. 8:20. And then main purpose, the last paragraph. Let me remember the last paragraph. Okay, she's zoning out. She has these Polaroids. She's thinking about how much. Right, and then that's her. Right. That was actually pretty funny. Her sort of not revenge plan, but sort of her. Yeah, her emerging strategy. Okay. Yeah, that's correct. I just briefly double checked the other ones and I'm good. Stop. 8:50. And now I'm gonna go into my second passage, which was pre-recorded at a different date. So here we go. Hang on. Actually, just for annotation's sake, I'm gonna do a little bit of. Maybe I should change all the times. It's kind of confusing. I need to write this in a way where I understand it later, but you know what? I'll just be doing this when I turn the video on. So here's the second passage. Let me turn the video on for you guys. Okay, and that's this. Okay, this is my pre-recorded video of a previous time that I took the test. Okay, let's get into it. Hang on, let me make sure this is not being, the playback speed should be normal. Okay, it's 1.0. Okay. All right, and I think the audio should come through pretty okay, so here we go. Let's go. Pope Leo the 13th in 1891. Rerum Novarum. I have no idea what that means. Stop. I just realized my VLC is probably not clearly playing through, so let me, that's a minor technical thing that I needed to fix. Just give me 1 second. Okay, I'm gonna try this again. It should be clearer this time. Working man having surrendered, hopeless. Okay. So I feel like I need to actually use a monitor to see if the audio is okay. Now, if there is somebody watching, I'd like you to just let me know. If the VLC, if my video player right now, the audio is coming through okay. Okay, I'm about to actually check as well. 3, 2, 1, let's go. Pope Leo the 13th in 1891. Rerum Novarum. I have no idea what that means. Working men have been surrendered, hopeless. Okay. Okay. We're actually on the side of the laborer. The mischief has been increased by rapacious usury, which is like interest rates. So there's employers and competition and usury. More than once conduct measures nevertheless under different guise, but with like injustice still practiced by covetous grasping men. Okay. To this must be added that the hiring, labor, and the content trade aren't concentrated. Okay. Very small number of rich men have been able to. Okay, cool. To remedy these wrongs, right now we're at 55 seconds. To remedy these wrongs, the socialist working. Okay, so I think right now my voice in like here, my live voice and my video voice, the volumes are pretty significantly different from the video that I'm playing. So I'm just tweaking it a little bit, but I guess in the final output we're not going to be able to fully avoid it. So I'll just have to kind of work with the difference in the audio quality. So right now I can tell that the VLC is playing. My video app is playing fine. So I'm just going to start it now again at second 25, okay? Sorry for the technical issues. Probably should have done this before that. Set this up beforehand, but yeah, there's just lots of little technical things to work with. Okay, so the VLC should work. I'm going to turn off my mic. So here we go. One, let's go. Pope Leo the 13th in 1891. Rerum Novarum. I have no idea what that means. Working men have been surrendered, hopeless. Okay. Okay, we're actually on the side of the laborer. The mischief has been increased by rapacious usury, which is like interest rates. So there's employers and competition and usury. More than once condemned by the church, nevertheless under different guise, but with like injustice still practiced by covetous grasping men. Okay. To this must be added that the hiring, labor, and the conduct of trade aren't concentrated. Okay. Very small number of rich men have been able to. Okay, cool. To remedy these wrongs, right now we're at 55 seconds. To remedy these wrongs, the socialist working on the poor man's envy of the rich. The socialists are striving to do away with private property and to contend that individual possessions become the common property of all. So I feel like we're not on the side of the socialists. They hold that by thus to be transferring property from private individuals to community would be set to rights, but are clearly powerless to end the controversy. The working man himself would suffer. Moreover, they're unjust. It is surely undeniable that when a man engages in remunerative labor, the motive is to obtain property for working. If a man hires out to another his strength or skill, he does so for the person return. Okay, so this is defending kind of like the basic capitalistic principles he intends. Okay. Such part of the ownership attains. Land or chattel. Okay. Socialists, therefore, by strike at the interest of every wage earner, since they would deprive him of his liberty of disposing of his wages. But yeah, the hope and possibility of bettering condition in his life. Something that's much more important, moment means importance here, however, is the fact that the remedy they propose is manifestly against justice. Oh, this is previously, we had the justice argument. Has the right to possess property. This is one of the chief points of distinction between man and animal. It is the mind. The mind renders a human being human. Very interesting argument, never seen that before. His right to possess things comes from his mind. Must have not only things that perish, but also things continue for further use in after time. Interesting argument. That was 4 minutes. Pause. Okay, here's what I remember. When you read, check what you remember with mine. Here's mine. So the situation of the working man is pretty atrocious. You know, hiring practices, interest rates, maybe something about trade. You know, the situation with trade, general inequality. You know, with only with all the wealth being concentrated in the hands of a very few. It's bad. It's bad for the common worker. So this Pope is definitely on the side of the worker. But then he goes on to say, well, here's what the socialists are proposing. The socialists are proposing to abolish private property and move private property to the communal property. And they see that by doing this, it actually, he kind of explains the reasoning a little bit, and he tries to do it in a sympathetic way. Is what I remember. Don't remember the details. Maybe because I'm a little sleepy, but sure. Then what happens is he makes his argument. They're wrong for two reasons. They would harm the common man, and it is just fundamentally, on principle, unjust. So there's the practical reason and then the abstract reason. So he actually goes in that order, and the first argument is that the actual common laborer, the worker, is harmed because he wants to be able to better his own life, and the way that you do that is by lending your labor to other people in exchange for remuneration, for payment. And this payment allows you to build up your property. And without being able to do that, you wouldn't be able to build up your own, like your basic like self-respect, I guess. I'm not sure, he doesn't use a word like that, but I'm trying to think of what he did say. But basically that harms your ability to, like direct your own life, something like that. Don't fully remember exactly the wording there. Then in the final, and then moves to the second argument, which is actually the final paragraph. He says also it's just unjust. It's not, in principle, we can't even agree with this because man has reason, and this allows him to have property. Oh, it allows him a right to have property. Very strange argument. I've not seen that before. Maybe it's from the Bible. I'm trying to think of where that would be, but apparently that's the second argument. Okay, so that's what I remember. How was your memory of it? How was your summary of the passage compared to mine? Think about that really quickly, and diagnose how well you read it. Now I'm about to start on the questions. I'm at 4 minutes. Restarting time, 3, 2, 1, let's go. Based on the passage, he would most likely be agreeing that the economic conditions of his era attest to which basic relationship that the wealthy are better off? Yeah, something like this. Okay. I was skipping laws immediately. Influences morale is suspicious. Okay. No, the measures have unintended effect of encourage. Okay, we don't know about that. 45. Okay, we know that when it's controlled in the hands of a few, it's actually stuff. Okay, that's from 8 through 14. Yep, that's exactly right. 5 minutes. Line 19, common most nearly means to be, that must be common property. Yes, it is common property. So shared, communal, shared property. That is exactly what I predicted actually, 5:15. The desire to acquire property prompts individuals to feel, the desire to acquire property prompts individuals to be able to build their own future, something like that. Oh, that's interesting. To seek work. The desire to acquire prompts individuals to work. That's true, but also maybe C, but probably not the other ones. That's interesting. I actually am not 100% sure, but I know where it would be roughly. It's over here. The main reason of his work is to obtain property. This actually supports the hiring, being hired. So he makes this connection. I didn't see this before, but owning land is just the replacement for the wages. Okay. So that's the connection there. So owning land is basically equal to wages in this case. Interesting. So yeah, B. I actually read too much for that, but I wanted to also understand the argument, so I read extra compared to what I needed for the question. Line 45, the phrase little estate most refers land owned by, yeah, that's right, that's exactly what I just read. I just read that. The little estate is talking about how they save up for it. Okay. To replace their wages. It can reasonably be inferred from the passage that it views socialism as being threatening because it harms the workers and is unjust. Recognition is awkward. It's also repetition of 14, which is weird. Repetition of 14C, I mean. Yeah, I mean, D is really broad, but seems like it's the right thing. Because, what did I say? Because it, harms the workers. Yeah, it doesn't allow, basically private property. Threatening because it harms private property, which is the convention institution, that's important. I'm trying to figure out if there's specific conventions that we're referring to, but anyway, I think that works. I'm gonna come back to this in a sec. Okay. Concept of private property, how it's connected to wage, and also how it's connected to our reason. Other forms? Maybe not other forms. A great deal is a little awkward. From resale, that's awkward. Freedom of property holders determine what to do with it. That's kind of awkward. Hang on. Exchange with other forms of property? Hang on. The land is only his wages in another form. Consequently, little estate that's should be completed at its full disposal, as are the wages. Okay, but it's precisely in such power of disposal to do anything he wants. Disposal. Yeah, that's the disposal. 930. Implies that those who wish to abolish the ownership of property fail to recognize that such ownership is beneficial because it allows them to kind of build their own life. A single set of values, no. Improve, that is 950. And this happens at the top right. Betterment 56. Okay, that's 1005. And then discussion of animal creation serves mainly to talk about difference between humans and animals. That's true. That's what I was looking for. So that's 1015. Now I just need to double check this one over here. Were there anything else? No, that's all fine. Okay, socialism is threatening because it endangers conventions and institutions. Not to do with disempowered groups of recognition or widespread discontent. So you can get D just by process elimination, so I could just finish at 1050. But for the sake of, now I'm going to pause, but for the sake of Okay, so that was my recording of my first time taking this passage. It was an interesting passage to me to read. Oh, wrong microphone. Let me turn on the other microphone. Give me a sec. Okay, so now that was my recording of the first time taking that passage. I'll return to my iPad now. Okay, and in my iPad, I just updated the time. I added 8:50 to my previous time. So 8:50 was where I stopped over here. So then, I took 4 minutes to read it, so that would be 12:50 over here. And then I finish it at 10:50, so that would be 19:40 over here. My stopwatch has been synchronized to play along, right, as if this was my first time taking the passage. Because that was actually my video the first time taking that passage. Now I'm going to finish off the third, fourth, and fifth passages. Okay, so as you might have been able to notice, I was pretty sleepy on that one, but I did well. We'll go and review the passages after the stream, after finishing the whole test. All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1, let's go. Plastic in the oceans, but why do they eat it? Why do they eat it? 2016. Interesting. 70 showed that they use their sense of smell or olfaction even when heavy fog obscures. Okay, so 2 decades later, okay, so we have TG and we have GN. Attracted to DMS, which comes from algae. Okay. The krill. Okay. Interesting. So this is why they eat. Yeah, they're being tricked into consuming plastic. Nevitt and I. Interesting. Nevitt and I. Okay, we have a first person. So they first create a database. Okay. To further test, second part of the experiment or of the study, analyze the smell. The 3 most common types. Algae would coat the plastic and produce DMS. That's kind of funny. The RMI, sure. $22.30. They are distinct. Okay. Interesting contextualization there. Sure enough, it's coated with algae. Proof positive, and had DMS. Higher than normal background concentrations, and well above detection levels. It looks and smells like food. All right, so this is 2310. Oops, whoa. 2310. Implications. Whoa, what's going on? Insidious threat. More insidious threat. Looks and smells. Okay. Small seabirds. more likely to confuse, who are more difficult to count, so not surveyed as closely. Okay, recommendation, we monitor less charismatic guys. Okay, 24. Mean DMS concentration plastic debris after immersion at sea. Oh, so this is from the first part of the study. Oh no, it's the second part. 3 different types, buoy locations. Oh no, this is a second study. Lots of DMS. I wonder what the two. Why is there such difference? Okay, we don't talk about this difference here. Okay. But overall it is high. And then over here, effects of DMS responsiveness behavior and plastic ingestions. Then obviously much higher. And nesting behavior. Burrowing. So burrowing, it must be these guys, right? Red. Burrowing. That's the guys at the very end. The less charismatic ones. Stop. 25:05, and I'm gonna do my quick map of the passage. Okay, this is me recalling the entire passage to the best of my ability, from start to end in order. Okay, so in the 1970s, there was this researcher who discovered something about birds. Okay, don't fully remember. Then 2 decades later, there's this other guy who discovered something else about birds. Also don't remember. I also don't remember. So this led to this hypothesis. Hey, why do they eat the plastic though? Actually, the first two might not have been about birds. It might have just been about DMS. Those discoveries might have just been about DMS. But anyway, this leads to the hypothesis. Do they maybe smell? Does this plastic smell like food to them? So there's this paragraph at some point. I don't know if this is after we introduce the second researcher and but I feel like it's before, where we talk about how the DMS actually comes from like DMPS or something, and then the algae kind of coats it, and then when the algae dies, or like the krill eat it or something, that turns out to be DMS. And DMS is a sort of signaling thing for some birds, where if there is DMS, then it's, then birds know that there's supposed to be krill around. Okay, so there's a bit of like a biological mechanism that's being explained about why particularly this hypothesis. Okay. So then I think RN is the acronym, is the initials I mean, but RN and I, okay, these two people, plus their team go, and first they make this huge database of like hundreds of species of birds or something like that, and like many locations, something like that, where they match what kind of birds eat what kind of plastics. And it does turn out that the DMS cued birds eat like 6 times as much plastic as the other ones. So that's a very good, it's very good circumstantial evidence. At least we have, just it looks like it matches the pattern. So that leads to a second study, which is how, like, confirming how like DMS actually smells. So what they do is they take 3 types of plastics, I think, distribute them over 2 different buoys, 2 different locations of the ocean, and then they just see if algae comes to be attracted to them and produce DMS out of them. Okay, because algae, basically, does the algae produce DMS on these plastics, which would make the plastics smell like food and look like food. to the birds. And it turns out, yeah, they have way more DMS than their immediate surroundings. So then they take, this is I guess the second part of the second study, but they take it over to the Robert Mondavi Institute of food science. And they confirm how much sulfur is in it, something like that. That's at the bottom of the left column. And turns out there's a lot of sulfur, something like that. Don't remember this, but this comes out on the top right. And then we finish off the results. So then we have implications. This is huge implications, two huge implications. First implication, it's more severe than we thought. The second implication, this actually harms, when we looked at the data, this actually harms the burrowing birds, the sort of less charismatic burrowing birds a lot more, which is scary because we don't even survey these birds very much. So the impact is unaccountable right now. We have no idea how large the impact is. Okay, that is my map of the passage. It's not perfect, but it's a pretty detailed map, where I know roughly where things are. How did your map compare to mine? You be the judge. I'm about to move on into the passage now. 3, 2, hang on, let me get the blue out. 3, 2, 1, let's go. Just trying to remember some parts of these. Oh, we had this little thing about okay, it's good enough. The ability to detect DMS is because DMS indicates food. Not just algae, but specifically krill, yeah. 25, 35. Contained, 22, contained. Contained, included. 25, 45. Prior to the studies conducted by the author, research on tube-nosed birds, seabirds, must have identified the prior to the studies. Okay, let's go find the tube-nosed birds. Okay, tube-nosed birds are attracted to DMS. Okay. Minimum level? Maybe. You know why? Because that comes out later on in the passage. Okay. Yeah. So let's look at later on in the passage. I think it's around here because we need to talk about higher than and well above levels. That's 52 to 53. Yep. So that's 27. The research you did with Nevitt is valuable because the results indicate. Wait, he did all of this with Nevitt, right? Yeah. Oh, but over here. Yeah, that algae creates a DMS. I was looking at biofile, but reverse was incorrect. Only recently acquired? No. May have underestimated the... Yeah, underestimation. This comes out in the significance. Okay, with populations declining, that's not really the focus right now. 2755. Am I hurrying? No, I mean, yeah, I'm good. Well, I don't feel like I'm rushing, but this is happening so fast. Which choice best supports the conclusion that a factor other than the presence of DMS, can mislead? Other than the presence of DMS can mislead. If it looks like food and if it smells like food, right? So we're looking at 60 to 74, and I don't remember, but I guess 60 to 62 helps. Because DMS is looking like food and smelling like food, but then if it just looks like food, because then there's things where it just looks like food, right? Just looks like food. That suggests that there's other factors. I mean, I could check 63 to 74 just to be careful, because I do want my 52 out of 52. Yeah, because the other part of the passage is not even about that, so we're good. 29:10. Burrow nesting seabirds. Hang on, I jumped without even reading. The discussion primarily serves to emphasize a particular danger. Okay. Yep. Should be, yep. 29:35. I almost made a mistake just by jumping right to the passage. In line 71, surveyed most nearly means they aren't tracked as much. Let me just double check, but they're not tracked as much. So they are not surveyed. They're hard to count, so they're not. Okay, it's kind of awkward because the word polling, but polling is for polling like opinions and stuff. Okay, I'll come back to that at the very end just to make sure I'm not crazy. Which statement about the data presented in figure 1 is best supported by the passage? About the data presented. What's supported by? Okay, the data in figure 1 that's supported by the passage. Hang on. Let me make sure that I fully understood this. Okay. I actually don't know. Nah. End. We don't know about the end. What? Why would we talk about likely have spent more time? Okay, it seems really weird. The sulfur odor of the different one would have been stronger than the sulfur odor. Polyethylene, polypropylene. Does sulfur come from? The chemicals with marine debris. Large and simple. Okay, well, polyethylene apparently has higher in Bowie location number 1, and polypropylene has higher in location 2. Yeah, that works. Okay, that took me a while because it's kind of an unusual question, because it was like, I felt like it was worded a little weird. Figure 2, what is the approximate mean percentage of seabirds found eating plastic debris that use foraging cue? Okay. They use it, so about 50. 32.25. Which buoy location and type of plastic had the highest? Just highest. So what's that? It's not zooming. Okay, location 2, polypropylene. 32.40. And we're going. Hey, what's up, yay? Okay. Pays to be smart. Okay, well, intelligence apparently leads to higher salaries. Firms. Dominant firms. What's distinctive? Broad range of sectors and using digital technologies. A few winners, the should take all. Okay. So I'm at 33. So we're not I don't. Okay, so apparently we're not talking about IQ. It's kind of sharply accelerating. Cats. Uniform across industries, especially in markets that undergo change. Smartest company, right? Smartest company, or might as well, because we're just saying that winner take all. So hang on, we are talking about overall, and then we're just talking about some people's names. But okay, some concession. Okay, a troubling result. Here we go. Labor used to be, from overall income to labor, they used to be constant, but now shrinking. Speed it up. Sped up. Speed it up. Okay, 3450. It puzzles economists. Yeah, the data isn't convincing. Okay, because the robots aren't even out yet. It's because of the superstar companies. They need fewer workers. These are labor frugal firms. Interesting. Another trend, okay. Economic growth has been sluggish. Okay. OECD think they have found the answer. Okay. Productivity is growing robustly at the frontier firms, but most companies aren't actually harnessing new technologies. Dan Andrews says the laggards. Interesting, that's a different perspective. 3610. Okay, stop. And I'm gonna give you my map of the passage. I'm gonna slightly adjust this upward. Okay, so here's my map of the passage. I'm gonna just, without looking at the page, right? I'll just be recalling everything I remember from start to end, and I'm gonna go straight into the questions. Okay, here we go. By the way, you might hear some buzzing in the background. That's because they're doing like they're mowing the lawns or whatever outside, which is kind of annoying. But let me know if that bothers you guys. Not because I can do anything about it, but mainly just because I'm curious. Okay, so continuing. We talk about these superstar companies right up front, okay, and we say that they're like monopolies, but they're not. They demonstrate this sort of winner take all characteristic, dominated by the tech elite, like the tech giants and some newcomers. Some Lawrence guy and some people. There's some like quotations of people that kind of detail this a little bit, but the first paragraph and second paragraph seem pretty much the same to me. Well, we talk about problems with this, and the first problem is that the share of income that goes to labor used to be pretty constant historically, but right now it's been actually decreasing. It's been shrinking over the last couple decades, I guess. And some people think that maybe it's because of robots, but it's not. It's not because of robots. Instead, there's this one economist who blames the superstar companies. That's the first column. And then moving on to the second column, there's a different problem. The total factor productivity has been dismal, they say. Dismal, like terrible. And total factor productivity, I don't fully remember the definition of it, but it's a type of innovation measure. And the OECD has kind of looked into it. I I feel like I might be missing like a paragraph, but skip to the final paragraph that I remember. The OECD has been looking into it, and there's some people who have opinions. And the first conclusion from there is that basically, actually, the productivity, like total factor productivity, the innovation and everything is really good at the top companies. It's just that there's a lot of laggards, okay, who are not using the new digital technologies very well. So it's actually the laggards that are keeping the economy down, which is actually a counterpoint to the general thrust of the article. The general thrust of the article is that the winners take all, and they're squeezing people out and not paying labor very much because they don't need it as much. But this actually suggests that it's actually the laggards' fault. So it's like a different position. Okay, so that's what I remember. I actually missed a couple things in between, but it's still roughly my map of the passage. How does that compare to yours? All right, I'm about to go right into the questions. Here we go. Oh, I didn't even see that. All right. Well, I'll continue from here. 3, 2, 1, let's go. Change in total factor productivity since 2001. The frontier firms have gone up and they're basically flat. Business services versus, this is manufacturing versus business services. I see. Up, down. Okay, pretty easy. Easy graphs. 3640, man, I'm really fast. Holy crap. A central idea in the passage is that successful sectors include only companies that are willing. It's a little strong, and willing seems kind of iffy. Centralization of power, that seems a little strong. Greater resources, labor growth, that's the opposite. Is it willing to use innovative technologies, or is it power? Dominant power. Only. How well? I feel like only and willing is kind of awkward, logically speaking. Yeah, I mean, I think it's pretty clear that that's the right answer. I can come back to it later if I want, so I'll just circle it for now. The author of the passage develops an argument primarily by just like citing other people's positions. Not research. Examine the process? Nope. One? Nope. Future trends? Nope. Historical national labor? Present? Yeah. Nope. We don't get a lot of research. Okay, 83820. Which choice best supports the conclusion that in certain industries, companies have little chance of succeeding if they cannot obtain? They have little chance of succeeding, okay, if they cannot obtain market control. That's probably, yeah, dominating. Hang on. I mean, you want to have the winners take all idea, which comes out in 10 and whatnot, but what's 73 to 77? Let's just double check. What's 73, 77? Stop. There's a weird typo here. Let me just double check. 73 to 77, but economy. There is no 73 to... It's 70 to 75. 74. Hang on. Let me fix this. Okay, that was stupid. All right, I'm gonna restart time. That just distracted me for a second. Okay, 3, 2, 1, go. That has nothing to do with, yeah, that last paragraph has nothing to do with. So 5 to 30, but I can't find this thing about 5 through 8. No. 14 through whatever. has gone. That's just background knowledge. So no, 28 to 30 is that the one? Yeah, but that's not very strong support. But okay, it's because it's literally just hearsay. It's just what it's just the person's opinion. But yeah, fine, whatever. Less successful companies that have been less successful have tended to fail to capitalize emergency. Yeah, that sounds basically exactly correct. 39.55. Okay, that comes out right side column. So let me just double check. I'm not 100% sure. Okay. That's from 67 to 75. Specifically 70 to 71. Okay. There's also 24, 26. Isn't that roughly area? No. They all the line numbers are messed up. 1 through 5 is probably not helpful. Yeah, I guess 9 through 12 or whatever, or 8 through 12. Stop. Just this thing's really annoying right now. These line numbers are all messed up. This is actually 8 through 12, right? It is 8 through 12. Hush. Super annoying. Okay. 8 through 12. That is 41.00. Okay, I'm going to continue. 3, 2, 1, let's go. Conditions most narrowly means 11. That's line 11. Conditions most narrowly means foster. Conditions foster. Circumstances. Okay, let me just double check. It is circumstances. Yeah, they foster circumstances. 41.25. Deeply, 32 deeply. Probably closely. Oh, no. Deeply troubling. Seriously, profoundly troubling. 41.40. Man, these line numbers are messing me up. Last two paragraphs serve mainly to. The rise of the super might also help explain another trend. A second trend about total factor of productivity. What? Oh, but I guess this works. Okay. But that's a weird way of technological advances. Okay, no, that works. That works. 42.40. Yeah, I guess I misread it the first time. Which claim about the manufacturing business service sectors is best supported by the figures? About both sectors is that they both, the frontier firms just grew. By 2004? 2004 is a little early. But that's also true, right? Oh, we're just talking about. No. I guess that's true. In 2004, we have 20% for business, but in 2004, we only have 10% for manufacturing. Very random. Very random. Now, this is just like a process of elimination. I have to go ahead and go through all of them. non-frontier decreased. I don't think it. Man, this is so hard. 2013. It's so hard to go back and forth on this PDF. No, they both increased. So it's, you know what? I gotta. This is a waste of freaking time. It's annoying me. I'm gonna move on. Like, it just annoys me when they force me to do process elimination. Well, not when they force me. They don't force me. But the question's sort of designed to be like looking at really nitpicky details instead of overall trends. So I'm just kind of annoyed by it. I'm like triggered by it a little. And honestly, on the real test, I would probably just circle it and come back, because I just don't feel like it's worth it. Yeah. I've already spent 2 minutes on this, almost, no, a minute and a half already on this question. It feels like a waste of time, because I'm pretty sure I'm right. So I can come back to it later, just circling it, moving on. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, let's go. The figures best support which conclusion about total factor productivity from 2001 to 2013? No. Frontier. And in January. Yep. 4450. See, this is a big picture question. The disparity increased. In approximately which year change greatest for frontier terms? The percent change in total factor productivity since 2001. And this is for both sectors, apparently. No, figure one. The greatest percent change. Average. So this is change. So we're this Y is change. So we're looking at 2007. Okay, 45, 45. And I'm moving right to the fifth and final passage. Here we go. Recovering samples for samples. So apparently recovering the samples for ancient DNA research is hard. Guidelines for the field archaeologist, 2013. Ancient DNA. Okay, 2015. 4610. Ancient degraded DNA has challenges. Contamination with contemporary DNA, which can easily swamp the ancient DNA. Okay, there was an example. They were actually contaminants. Symptomatic treatment. So when you're just if it's already contaminated, you can't remove it. You're just dealing with the symptoms. I guess that's the idea. Okay, 4755. We have high throughput sequencing, which are statistical tools based on it available. So we have a technological breakthrough. identifying is hard. Although strict levels are often combined with bio that respectively remove and identify. Respectively remove and identify. So what that means is the exercises remove and then the analyses identify. Okay. So basically we're a little unhappy about the current situation. Okay, 2 years later, what happens? Whack-a-mole. Contamination, corruption, shredding. But we have some breakthroughs. Read aDNA. Open whole new vistas. Okay, so some background, biological background. Die for a few reasons. Recycling DNA, and those enzymes keep doing it. Confetti. Okay, 50-20. The best aDNA comes from samples in Tundra's caves, but we could assemble from even minute scraps and recover genomes with the right sample and software. We can even push back to potentially 1 million years. Okay, that's cool. We have an optimist here. Sample solves only one problem though. Fungi and bacteria. So we have to be chemical snares like RNA bait. So that you kind of pull the, I see, you have to pull the DNA out, you have to bait it out. Locking the beads. Finally a magnet holds onto the beads. Expensive. New methods, drop the price of Thursday. Okay, very optimistic. Cool, super cool. Very nice and techy. The main purpose of the second paragraph, 2131, is to talk about the limitations of these rules. Explain in great detail. Yep. 5220. I'm just double checking C and D real quick. Nope. Attitude of the author, passage 1, toward the technology that has now become available. The technology that's now available. I feel like a little. He's not quite positive or negative. So I'm gonna get cautious. Costly, but does not guarantee accurate. I think that's about right. Let me just double check. Also, what line are we supposed to be looking at? Okay, now available. Available. I see. Yeah. I'm right. That's that last paragraph. Okay, 5315. Best evidence? Oh, that's probably 3540, right? The last one. 3540. Considerable time. Yeah. I was just looking for the bottommost one. 41 strict most nearly means. 41 strict most nearly means. Although strict, although exacting, although rigorous, sure, that works because we're talking about how to remove those contaminants. Passage 2, that DNA shredded by enzyme is basically impossible to, well, not quite, not preserved. Protected for, no. No. Wait. DNA is used as material to support living function in healthy cells? Hang on, what? A few dozen letters long. All healthy cells have enzymes to recycle it. To shred it. Right on shredding after death. Okay, what? The hell? I'm like super confused on this. DNA shredded by enzymes is impossible to read. I mean, that's kind of what I would say. DNA shredded by enzymes I'm just double checking the other parts of this, but no. Use as material to support. I guess that's the only thing I can keep. Because to support living, that's the thing about the enzymes, to support living functions. All healthy. So 56 to 57? The hell is this? It's really weird. 5620. Super weird. Scientists think they can push that back. 75, 76. Oh, right. They can analyze even older. Yeah. They can analyze even older stuff. Both passages imply that aDNA is easy to contaminate. That's kind of confusing. Greater understanding of no. Yeah. $27.31. Would that be useful in this situation? Okay, what's the problem? It's hard to distinguish between the contaminants, right? Before entering. And here, it should be useful because it's only glomming onto the human DNA. Finding the right sample only solves. Yeah, so it would help because this is how you remove the fungi bacteria contamination. Yep. 5810. I'm gonna double check A and B. Species. Seems kind of wrong. I mean, I can come back to it, but both passages consider examine the difficulties, but addressing, I guess so. Does passage 2 address detail? Yeah. That's basically right. 58, 55. Okay, and that is me with, what, 6 minutes left? Let's go back over some questions. Line 6. Line 37, unreasonably. It was she hadn't told it because it was a unreasonable longing. It was a, unrealistic. Yeah, unrealistic is the longing is not excessive. That's very strange to say. Then we're looking at 16. He views socialism as being threatening because it... Oh, I went over this in the video, but yeah, I already actually went over this in the video, so I'm going to skip that. 28, surveyed most nearly means... Yeah, you're not polling. Polling is actually asking questions. So 71. So they're not polling. They're not tracked. Yeah. They're not counted. Right? Polling isn't just counting, right? I polled how many people there were. I tracked how many people there were. I feel like track is better. Yeah. 32. Successful sectors of the modern economy. Centralization power. Because that's basically the first paragraph, right? See, for me, power is is a word that I'm very careful to use, which made it hard for me to choose B right away. But yeah, it's pretty obvious afterwards. Let's look at 40. About both sectors. Okay, so I just want to double check. See, the average percentage change in increased overall, while non-frontier firms, no, that doesn't make any sense. For C, they didn't increase. Fluctuations in the... Oh no, they both increased. They both increased slightly. Fluctuations in the average percentage change were more consistent. No, man, the fluctuations are random. And what does that even mean? The average percentage change for frontier firms and businesses is greater than for frontier firms in manufacturing, right? In business services, it was greater than 20%, and manufacturing was still under 10%. Yeah, so that one's just a stupid, annoying POE, process elimination question that you have to go through. And then finally, let's go through some of these weird ones. Oh yeah, this was super weird. How much time do I have left? I have 3 more minutes. Oh, I should be doing this in green. Oh, I forgot. Sorry, guys. Passage 2, that shredded enzyme by DNA shredded by enzymes is the DNA before it's shredded by enzymes is used as material to support living functions in healthy cells. The DNA is preserved by water in healthy cells. No, they're not protected. Preserved by water and oxygen? Hang on. React and degrade further? No, man. So have enzymes to recycle it. All healthy cells have enzymes to recycle the DNA. Enzymes recycle, that's supporting living functions when they're in healthy. I really wish they didn't have this stupid wording, shredded by enzymes. Why did they add that there? That makes it so stupidly confusing. So 56, 58 is correct, right? Such an annoying. 58, 60, and 60, 62, 60, 62. Let's just double check. No, it's very destructive. Okay, and then 64, 67. Yeah, see, what? Grammatically very weird answer choice. Really weird question stem. And then finally, discussion of the RNA bait technique would be useful in the circumstances because it differentiates between genuine and contaminant. Okay, and over here, we're talking about, here you have to remove the contaminant beforehand. But here, we talk about contamination, and then we use the snares to pull out the actual human DNA. So the reason this question is a little uncomfortable for me is this probably technologically doesn't solve all instances of this, okay? It doesn't solve all instances of this. It only solves, I mean, maybe it does, but it's hard to know. So that's kind of why I feel awkward about it. 64 minutes right now and 15 seconds. Ancient human material. I see, but I missed the other thing about the human material. Okay, so no. So I actually have to fix this. Because right now we're talking about fungi. Yeah. So. Yep, that is 64:55. And that is time. All right, so the hour has come. The hour of judgment. Here we go. Did Saul get 52 out of 52? I feel pretty confident. Let's. I hope I didn't make. But let's say I made like one dumb mistake, then I feel like I should get a 51 out of 52. So I feel pretty good. Let's go and score it. Hey, this is actually kind of fun. It's fun to do it all at the end. I mean, I don't really necessarily think that's the best way for you guys to study, but for me to do this as content, this is more fun because I get to do a reveal. So let's go and score this, baby. Here we go. Hang on. I just want to make sure that the saving doesn't get all weird here. But it should be good. It should be good. iCloud is so unreliable, man. In the 21st century, I feel like a lot of solutions are actually worse in terms of reliability compared to like 10 years ago. Where are my answers? Give me a sec. I'm pulling up the answers. For some reason, it's not loading. Huh? Answered. All right. May 20. Okay, I don't know what just happened, but I'm going to do it again. The hour is here. May 2021. There we go. There's my answers. So let's go down to the end of this PDF. Come on. All right. And now I'm scoring. Here we go. Does Saul get a 52? Yes, this was genuinely my first time doing it. So here we go. I chose 1, 2, 3, 4 A, C, B, D. A, C, B, D are correct. Whew. I'm way more tense than I need to be. Okay, here we go. 5, I chose C, B, D. A, B, D, holy crap. Got -1. Okay. A, B, D. Here we go. 8 through 10. All right, we're going for 51 out of 52. 51 out of 52. Here we go. A, C, D. Wait, hang on. 8 what? C, B. BD? Am I looking at the right one? Okay. 8 through 10 says CBD. So for now, I'm going to write it here. Purchasing. That one's actually a stupid mistake because of the word purchasing. I'm pretty sure that's actually correct. Yeah, so I made a mistake there. 61 through... Right. And then I read that as renting, or I just for some reason assumed it was talking about renting rather than purchasing. That one was actually legit dumb. But let's look at 5 actually, since I'm here anyway. Sad. Ah. Okay, let's go. Where's 5? So she had lived in that house only once in her childhood, a magical sprawling place. Oh, I actually thought I misread this. I read this as a imaginative house. Oh, that screwed me. I actually... Okay, no, A is correct. I made 3 mistakes already on the first passage. That's insane to me. But... God damn it! Why? So annoying. Okay, where did my answers go? So annoying. All right, but that's no, I have to accept all of them, and they were really, I cannot believe. So this one I misread the passage for number 5. I misread the passage, and I just I don't know, I just skipped over it. For number 8, I misread the question stem. The question stem was asking about purchasing. So annoying. Okay, and 10 I got correct, so that's 7 out of 10. Boo! Then I got 10 out of 10 on this one. Got 10 out of 10 on this one. Then, which I showed on the video. Then, okay, then now I'm looking at this stupid PDF. Then I'm looking now at 21. iCloud is being stupid. I am being stupid too. iCloud and I are being stupid. iCloud and I and iCloud. Idiotic. 21 through 25, here we go. I chose DA, ACB. DA, ACB. Oh, God. Now I doubt my entire existence. Here we go, 26. ADC, ADC, correct. And then DCD from 29. DCD from 29. Cool. So for that, I have, is that 11 out of 11? That's 11 out of 11. Oh my God, 3 wrong on the literature, and they were all so avoidable. 32. BCC, 32. BDC. Oops, sorry, wrong one. BDC. Is there research on the subset, on that subset of companies? Historical, I guess, do we not have presenting of the labor data? But where's the research on? I guess, you know why? Actually, I got that. The reason I got that one wrong is because he doesn't present when I read this, and remember my prediction? My prediction was, oh my God, it's just him talking about what other people are saying. Like he doesn't actually do his own research at all. So that's why I ignored D. I ignored D, but here, but that was me being a little too specific about that word. Like, yes, I mean, that one I should accept that one. That one's a mistake. because I kind of wish the question was more sensitive to the fact that he's mainly just David Rotman is not necessarily all in on this research, is he? Let me just double check something. I guess he is positive on it. But it's so weird because this whole passage is written in a way where it's like he's sort of just presenting other people's findings without really kind of getting involved directly. So develops his argument primarily by. Okay, let me think about what's his argument. What's his argument? Okay, no. Maybe I'm being whiny. Am I being whiny here? Of a subset of companies. Nah, okay. It took me a while, but I will accept that. I lost. I lose. I quit. 4 wrong so far. Okay, so 32 to 34, I chose B, C, C, but it's actually BDC. I capitulate. Annoying. Okay, 35. Here we go. A, B, B, D. A, B, B, D. Cool. And then AA. AA, cool. And then CB. CB, cool. That is 10 out of 11. Because I'm pretty sure that was 11 questions. That was 11 questions. So annoying. But yeah, there's no present national labor data, right? No, there is. So primarily is the main word, but C, right, the reason I chose C was because even though C is not a very great answer choice, it's not. It's also not, it is partly how he develops his argument, and I thought that D was wrong, and I was just going by gut feeling. But I was reading the word research. I was focusing on sort of the sort of I don't know if modality is the right word, but like the modality of him, of Robert, what's his name? David Rotman, kind of presenting other people's opinions and sort of observing the trend really in a sort of non-argumentative way. You know, that's how I was reading it. So it felt very strange to read this sentence. The author of the passage develops his argument primarily by presenting research concerning the rise of a subset of companies. For some reason that felt wrong to me, but now that I read it out loud, it feels totally right to me. Oh well. Oh well. I think streaming might have created a couple bad habits in my test taking. Just gonna think a little bit more about this before I just blurt it out, but I'm gonna think about this and then share my thoughts afterwards. Okay, here we go. And let's finish this off. 43. I chose BA. iCloud is being stupid, so I have to keep scrolling all the way down to the bottom of the PDF because it keeps refreshing. Because iCloud is being silly. All right, here we go. So what page was this? 43. I chose BA. 43. BA. And then DDCA. And then I chose, where are we? DDCA, correct. And then BC, which is BC 49, BC. BC. And then AB. AB. So I got 10 out of 10. So that was a total of 48 out of 52. So sad. So sad. Cannot believe I got 3 wrong on the literature. I was a little sloppy though. I was. I misread that passage, so I think on that, if I like, because I probably would not have known to doubt my own reading. Except longing to return to the security of a child, I did feel like slightly iffy on it. I probably should have circled it, but okay. Slightly overconfident on that one. But that one would have been a little harder for me to recover in real time, I think. Whereas purchasing a house will be helped by, literally, if I just reread the question stem slowly, I think I'm doing the thing that I tell you guys not to do, which is I'm kind of skimming through the question stem like really fast. And it's actually hurting me. It hurt me quite a lot on these, on 8 and 9. It kind of destroyed me, honestly. So 1, 2, 3, and then 4. Presenting research sheet. All right. Well, that's 48 out of 52. All right, and that's the stream, guys. Let me zoom back in. Here we go. This is way easier to stream. Like, not explaining between every single passage. It's so much easier to stream like this. So I am, personally, I'm liking this format, and I want to just keep doing it this way. But I want to hear from you guys what you guys think about this way of doing it. Especially if you've seen my previous streams, I'm curious for you what feels like a more helpful stream for you. And why, if you could explain why, like what is like the insight that you get, or what are the problems that you get, that you encounter in one format versus another. So that would be helpful for me. I do think streaming my test has potentially created, I don't want to blame streaming, it's always my responsibility to take the test in a way that is deserving of my younger self's name, you know, because my younger self is getting better scores than my current self. But I do, so it's my responsibility to do that. But I do think that through the streaming, I've started overemphasizing choosing from confidence, and it's made me a little hasty in my answer choices. So through my overemphasis of that, I realized that I stopped doing process elimination. Like I almost stopped entirely, which has made me make some silly mistakes, and so I think I oversold that point. Is basically what I'm saying. I oversold the point that you really don't want to do process elimination. I would say, in retrospect, you kind of want to do some rough process elimination for all the questions, but you just don't want to waste too much time by assuming you're going to start with process elimination. And you still should resist the idea of doing like a word-for-word process elimination. That's a huge sink of time. You should kind of already have a high confidence you should already have a high confidence answer first, and then just quickly eliminate the other ones so you can move on. Okay, that's kind of the way to approach process elimination. So I oversold that point, and I was sort of demonstrating it, and through demonstrating I actually proved to myself that I was overselling that point, because I was forcing myself to act in the way that I was talking. So if anything, that's actually a good thing. I'm actually showing how even I sometimes overemphasize things, which might lead to bad results for some of you guys. So this, by actually making myself practice what I preach, right? By making myself do what I'm telling you guys to do, it's actually teaching me how to be more the limits of my own advice. So I think that's one thing that happened. Another thing that I do want to use as an excuse is, man, I really do feel like dumber than my 20 somethings, like my 20 something self. I'm like scared now. Can I even get a perfect score? I can. I'm gonna get it. All right, guys. So that's it for today's May 2021 QAS SAT Solve Live. It looks like we have no questions in the chat, so I'm about to wrap up. Let me know what you guys think about the format of this stream, because it has changed significantly since yesterday. And guys, good luck with your studies out there. Keep on growing every day. I'll see you guys in the next one.